Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Massive, I mean massive, Russian missile and drone attack on Ukraine as a response to the attacks with ATACMS on that airfield yesterday. So, if you remember, and if you don't, I'll let you know, the Ukrainians attacked an airfield, military airfield. I covered that in a video yesterday. With US-made ATACMS missiles. The Russians said, we will retaliate. Today they retaliated, I think, with one of the most massive attacks on Ukraine. And this controlled war that is in Ukraine is getting escalated and escalated. That tells me that the Russians forget about their, cousinship or brotherhood between them and the Ukrainians, telling them, you know what, you're gonna continue following those guys' orders, we're gonna destroy you. Unfortunately, not the people who should be responsible, held accountable, will be up, but the people, the regular people, the nation, culture. So let me show you what happened here. This is one of the articles. I'm going to start in a chronological way, and then I would like to add, before I go any further, that Russians advanced like never before. They encircled Ukrainians in Kursk. They liberated, took control of about 7 settlements and in Donetsk Oblast, and the situation is shitty. So let's start with, in a chronological way, see what kind of missiles, drones, and what targets the Russians hit, and we find out that F-16s were fantastic. I mean, who would guess? Who'd have guessed that? Several Russian strategic bombers take off in Russia overnight on Friday. A takeoff of 295 MS strategic bombers, which may carry cruise missiles, was recorded in Russia's north. This was reported by Ukrainian Air Forces. The takeoff of several Tu-95 MS from Olenia aircraft in Murmansk region, the Russian Federation, has been recorded. Follow our updates, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this Murmansk is north here. I can't get to that far, but it's north by Finland. That's the area. It's very much in the north. This is Minsk. This is the Estonia, Latvia, and then you have this is Poland, this is Lithuania, this is Latvia, and up there is Estonia. You can't see it right there, but anyway, it's somewhere in the north. So what happened? According to the Russians, large-scale missile strikes reported across Ukraine. Ukrainian energy infrastructure is under massive attack, Kiev's energy minister has claimed. So you hit our targets, or our facilities in our country with American help, we're gonna fuck you up. And then you talk to the Americans if you like that. It seems like this is their response as of now. That is, you're gonna hit me, my brother, with their weapons? I told you, if you hit me with their weapons, I'm gonna fuck you up. That's what's going on right now, I guess. Numerous airstrikes, missile strikes, were reported across Ukraine on Friday, causing power outages in Kiev and several other cities. Energy infrastructures in all parts of Ukraine has come under massive attack, Kiev Energy Minister German Bababab said. So let's see how many missiles, right? Russia launched 93 missiles and 200 drones in massive attack on Ukraine's energy sector. Zelensky Stein is okay with that because it's not his people. It's other people's people. And I'm quoting, this is Putin's idea of peace. What are you talking about? You know exactly what he said he's going to do to you if you do that. To destroy everything. No, he didn't fuck you up yet, so it's not everything. And I'm quoting, is how he seeks negotiations by terrorizing millions. He told you, didn't he? You use ATACMS to hit me. This is the consequence. You did it with the Americans, because remember, those ATACMS are not operated by Ukrainians. I don't think they are. The Americans will not allow them to do that. And the targets picked were by the military satellites, American military satellites, not by Starlink or whatever public shit. So the Russians said, if you use their weapons to hit us, we're going to do this to you. And you did. Okay, I told you, I'm a man of my word. And who's losing? The Ukrainian people without power. Ukrainian people without power. Not Zelensky. Zelensky is just fine. When things happen, Zelensky is going to be shipped to London, you'll see, or to New York. One of the two. New York or London. London first. But I suspect when he's going to take off, I think a Russian missile will fuck it up. Even though we have F-16s protecting the presidential airplane. This is my suspicion, my gut feeling. We're going to discuss about this, right? Next article, Ukrinform. Ukrainian Defense Forces shot down 81 Russian missiles, 80 drones during large-scale attacks. So 81 missiles, 80 drones. Out of 93 missiles, so that means what? About 13 missiles, and they got about 120 drones still flying around. But let's see what's going on. Ukraine's defense forces intercepted and destroyed 80 Russian cruise missiles, 1 ballistic missile Iskander-M, and 80 strike drones, including Shahed and unidentified types. Here is the evidence. Got it? This is the evidence, man. You have to believe this. It's like Colin Powell showing up at the United Nations National Assembly, whatever National Assembly, UN General Assembly, and telling us about the Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction and the mobile chemical labs. So what do we have here? This is what they did. Radar and air defense units detected 287 airborne threats. 287 during this period, including 94 missiles and 193 drones. This guy says 293. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's don't stick to this. All right, why don't you open now? Because you're a bitch? I guess so. Okay, let's see. Maybe it's going to open now. All right, thank you very much. Let's go back here. I have here. So, this is what they did. They updated it. 4 Kinzhal aeroballistic missiles launched from MiG-31K fighter jets from Tambov, 2 Iskander-M ballistic missiles, 1 KH ballistic missile, 55 cruise missiles launched from 2 95 bombers, 24 Kalibr cruise missiles from the Black Sea, 7 Iskander-M cruise missiles launched Voronezh and Rostov, 1 guided air missile, 193 strike drones. This is what they did. And what these guys do? Ukraine's air defense successfully countered the attack using surface-to-air missile systems, aviation including effective use of F-16 jets, electronic warfare units, mobile fire teams. You have to say that. Why? Because it's a commercial, my friends. Right here, Ukrainian Air Force on latest large-scale Russian attack. 161 Russian targets destroyed, F-16s performed effectively. This is a commercial advertising for the American military-industrial complex. That's what it is. Personally, I think some F-16s were fucked, and I think some F-16s fucked some Russian missiles. All right? That's what I think. Do I have evidence? Just experience and logic. All right, let's move on. Next one. Let's see what the Russians attacked. This comes from Ukrinform. Russians attack critical infrastructure facility in Drohobych district in Lviv region. Lviv region is the Polish future part of Poland, is the Polish-Ukrainian side, or how should I put it? Polish part of Ukraine. This is going to go to Poland, right here. Lviv, Lutsk, these things. When the Poles will send their peacekeeping troops, they will take over as much as they will. It's not going to be like the Russians will agree to a ceasefire and they will allow NATO troops on Ukraine. I don't think that will happen. But hey, we'll find out, right? And F-16s performed fantastically. And in Lviv, in the morning, the enemy attacked a critical infrastructure facility in the Drohobych district in Lviv region, causing a fire. Next one. Ukrinform. DTEKs, TPPs damaged in Russia's recent massive attack. So on the morning of December 13th, 2024, Russia launched massive attack on DTEK group's thermal power plants, right here. The relevant statement was made by Bababab, and he says that following the massive attack, the thermal power plant's equipment suffered serious damage. That means no energy for the Ukrainian people. As the shelling ended, power engineers began to promptly eliminate the consequences and restore the operation of equipment in 3 years, right? Or just 3 seconds. Next one. Ukraine informed critical infrastructure site hit in Ivano-Frankivsk region during massive attacks. So we have so far Lvov, and you have Ivano-Frankivsk. This is north of Romania, and here is Zakarpattia of the Hungarians. This is northern Bukovina of Romanians, and this is Basarabia, which is Romanian right here. So they are hitting this part right here. Remember, the Germans Rheinmetall said that they will open a plant right exactly here, saying that this is Hungary right here, this is Romania. The Russians will have a hard time guiding their missiles coming only through this little narrow pass without crossing NATO or NATO. Therefore, it's very easy to be defended. Well, I haven't heard anything about that yet. All right, but hey, let's see what else these guys are saying. Where is that? Okay, critical infrastructure in Ivano-Frankivsk. At dawn, the enemy deployed strike drones and cruise missiles targeting critical infrastructure. There are hits. Thankfully, no casualties have been reported so far. Thank God. All right, next one. Ukrainska Pravda. Power outages increased because of Russian large-scale attack on energy facilities. Again, from today, Friday the 13th. So the Russians can do this, but they hold back. This is one of the points. This is a controlled war. It's not when they say all war. No, they control what they hit, when they hit, and how much they hit. So right now, they said, we're going to do this now. We told you not to do it. So that means the Russians are holding back. I know it sounds idiotic for the baboons, but why didn't they hit this, I don't know, about 2 years ago? Or they were not ready? Could be. So let's read this article a bit. Russia is once again launching large-scale missile attack on Friday, 13th of December, targeting energy facilities in particular. Russian targets energy facilities in Lviv and Ivano-Frankivsk Oblast, strikes reported. Then we go to Russian Defense Ministry says large-scale attack on Ukraine was response to the Taganrog attack. Where's Taganrog, that little thing? This is where these guys struck, right by Roston-on-Don, right here. This is where they struck this airfield that you can see. This is the military airfield right here, and this is the civilian airfield. I covered that yesterday. Go and see the video. So this is what the Ukrainians, the Americans, whomever, ATACMS missiles struck right there in that position, location over there, from somewhere here. Now the Russians say, actually is the Russians said, and the Ukrainians took it. Took the report. We did it because of Taganrog attack. We told you not to do it. Russia Today. Russia's Ministry of Defense explains reason for latest retaliatory strikes on Ukraine. Moscow's forces have successfully hit a number of Kiev's key energy facilities, not military facilities, energy facilities. But if you say, well, that's a crime, do you remember the war in Yugoslavia? 1999, it was still Yugoslavia at that point. It was, I think, Montenegro and Serbia were still together. Remember that one? Remember NATO defensive alliance, mind you, struck energy facilities and bridges in Serbia? You remember what the general in charge with those strikes were, and was the argument? Those are supporting the military, therefore they are legitimate targets. That was their reasoning. So please use the same thing right here, and then you can expand that. As I always say, extrapolate it to civilians help the military effort, don't they? Don't they prepare food? Don't they bottle waters? That means those facilities are okay to be hit? I don't think so. But remember, everything, and I don't like using everything, all, nothing, and all the time and all that. When you hear that the Russians are doing something and this guy said that's bad, they did it too. They all do it. It's a war. The problem is they give you the media operatives to portray it as, oh my God, never been done before. Really? Just open a history book or do 2-3 clicks and you find out these guys did it even before those guys did it. all the massacres and all that. So, overnight missile strikes on critically important Ukrainian facilities were conducted in response to Kiev's recent ATACMS attack on a military airfield near the city of Taganrog, the Russian Defense Ministry said. In response to the use of American long-range weapons, Russia's armed forces launched a massive strike with high-precision long-range air and sea-based weapons and UAVs on critical fuel and energy infrastructure facilities in Ukraine that support the operation of the military-industrial complex. Got it? All right, let's go to the next one. Russia strikes Ukrainian energy infrastructure in retaliation for attack on Taganrog. We're not going to go over that again, but we're going to go to Russia Today. Record Russian gains. Kursk encirclement and Donbass push. Ukraine's conflict updates. All right, so this is what you got to get out of all this article. Record Russian gains, and I think that's true. Kursk encirclement, I would like to see that one. Right here, Kursk direction. Ongoing battles and the encirclement of the AFU. The situation, okay, let me see. All right, interesting fact, the first major encirclement of Ukrainian forces since the Battle of Mariupol. Remember Mariupol? In Azovstal steel plant that was right here on the Sea of Azov thing. Right here, this is where Mariupol was. Remember, 2,600 people were encircled in the Azovstal steel factory, which is right here, and they came out. That's how it was reported in America. And they came out. They were not, surrounded and taken prisoner. No, they came out, and then they went to Russia. They were not taken to Russia. It's my God, this is euphemistic talking for you. Which occurred in spring 2022, happened at these sections of the front. Several hundred AFU soldiers found themselves encircled mid Olgovskaya Grove. Russian President Vladimir Putin relayed this information October 24th and November 20th. The area had been cleared. What's the current situation? This week battles have been more intense. Kursk remains one of the few directions where Ukrainian forces are actively counterattacking, able to hold their ground and even occasionally advancing. See, this is reporting. They recognize those guys are doing something good, which is bad for the Russians. So where is Kursk? Let's go here. Kursk, let's go Brandon, right? Kursk is this area where the Westerners tried something successfully for a while, but this becomes smaller and smaller. The Russians are pushing them back eventually. Next one. Russia's Vostok battle group liberates 7 towns in 1 month. That's like a summary. They have to, build their morale as well. 7 towns in 1 month, and that's, as they claimed in the other article, record Russian gains. And then let's go to the last article. Massive fire engulfs Russian military facility in Siberia. So someone started shit. Okay, the facility belonged to a company that provides services to strategically important Russian energy infrastructure and companies that produce explosion-proof equipment. The fire engulfed about 5,000 square meters of the building and caused the roof to partially collapse. Not a big deal, but anyway, it took about 12 hours to bring the fire under control. There is currently no information about any casualties. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Now, it doesn't mean that you have a fire in Russia necessarily is the Ukrainians or the MI6 or the, CIA or whatever military component of the US military-industrial complex. But it's very strange during a war. You pay attention to every little thing that happens, and you could probably link it to the war. So, my friends, this is what Ukraine is. Ukraine is a war between the United States of America's owners, right? Using the United States of America, which is you and I and our families and so on, using a proxy war, another nation that has nothing to do, could have found a middle ground with the Russians a long time ago, using them to take over this. That's what it is. And it's a controlled war. It's not an old war because the Russians did not use nuclear weapons and many other weapons they have, including 30 million potential fighters. That's how many men that could fight for Russia if they do a general a general mobilization, and they don't. This is a controlled war. Good? No, not good, because it's people behind the scenes making huge profits and other people's lives and countries and nations destroyed. And those people, I suspect, in charge of this garbage are not Europeans. Maybe they were born in Europe. Thank you very much for being with me again today. And I'm talking about Europeans. I'm not talking about Europeans like, I know, French, European stock. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.